What's up, everybody? It's Thegoal60 here for Monday, May the 6th, 2019. So yesterday we didn't have any revenge plays. We didn't have any RPI plays, but we were watching a couple of the over-under tests going, and we'll get into how those did, and we'll talk about everything that's starting up today right after this. So like I said, we didn't have any RPI revenge, but we were watching 3 series on the over-under system. Now, one of them did get postponed. It was the Tampa Bay and Baltimore game, so it got postponed to like July. So what I did, instead of holding that and keeping up with that and trying to finish that last play, then I decided to cut the losses and count it as a 2-day loss, and just count it just like if this happens again on the 3rd day, then this is what we'll do. But also, we had a win yesterday. Atlanta and Miami did stay under the total for us, which is exactly what we needed. But we did have a loss with San Francisco and Cincinnati. Now, that series is one of those extremely rare series where it's a 4-day series, but it started on Friday. So they are in their 4th game today. And we'll get into that when we go over the over-under stuff. But it is still alive. We're still trying to get that win today. And if so, we'll talk about tomorrow, the overall record and everything for the over-under system and how it's done in the first week and a half. But with that said, let's go over the other systems first, and then we'll get into the over-under stuff. The first one is the revenge system, and we did have a potential play, but it did not make it through the RPI, and that was Miami and Chicago. Miami was the revenge team here. And you looked at they're in the bottom 3 at .431. Chicago's at the top 3 at .553. It meets, all the things that you don't want. You don't want to bet on a bottom 3 team. You don't want to bet against the top 3 team. Plus the differential in .553 to .431 is more than 15 points. So everything about RPI in that game did not meet. So therefore, it's not even an unofficial. We're just completely wiping it off the board. And now we'll get into the RPI system, where we've got several plays starting up today. So we do have what I believe to be 5 official series in the RPI system. One of them doesn't have a price just yet, but I think that it will come out in our favor. The other 4 are definitely going. They've got a price. They meet all the parameters, so we'll be going with them. But the one that does not have a price so far is Arizona and Tampa Bay. Arizona's in the top 3 at .554. Tampa Bay's at home at .504. Snell is pitching for Tampa Bay, and it's a big name compared to the last couple of years, what he's done there. So the price, I've only seen one money line price that one book had put out at this time when I was filming this, and it had Tampa Bay at like a -180 favorite. That lines up really good for us as far as being on the run line on the other side. That should give us a price of around, maybe -120, -130, something like that. It'll be perfect, as far as getting a run and a half and really not having to pay that much in juice. So hopefully we get a good price there. If it's lower than that, it's even better. So Arizona will be a play if the run line is a good price. If not, it'll be an unofficial play. Next up, we've got Atlanta and the Dodgers. Atlanta's at .498 in LA this week at .555 for the Dodgers. The price right now is -142 for the Dodgers, and therefore it becomes an official play. Washington and Milwaukee. Washington's at .475. Milwaukee's at .547. Hopefully Milwaukee can continue success. They are an underdog here, but they're almost a pick 'em, so we're going to go with value at -102. You could take the run line, but it's really expensive, and so therefore we look at the value. Like I've told you before, if it's around the pick 'em, we'll go ahead and take the money line. If it gets to say plus money, that's when we look at taking the run line. Lastly, we have, or no, not lastly, but Philadelphia and St. Louis is the next game. Philadelphia is at .482, St. Louis at .547. You look at the price, and St. Louis is at -136. I know that these two teams this past weekend were kind of headed in opposite directions. St. Louis is still a good ball club. They went up against the Cubs. The Cubs had a really good weekend, scored a lot of runs, and swept the Cardinals. But I will say that Philadelphia of course, was on the other side. They were winning games. I think they won 2 out of 3. But at the same time, I think that St. Louis is a good play here, and I like that. And it is, minus 136. Everything fits, so I'm going to go with that one. And then Minnesota and Toronto is the last game. This is kind of the same situation as the Milwaukee play. They're not a favorite, but they are around pick'em. And that is Minnesota at .538 and Toronto at .480. You look at Minnesota, they're actually a slight underdog here, been right around minus 106. Some books you're going to find them at like minus 103, but that is the play to go with. There is the Twins. That is it. That's all 5 of those. Now we'll talk about the unofficials and wrap it up. As far as unofficials, like I said before with the official plays, Arizona, we're waiting to see the prices there. This could be an unofficial or unofficial just whenever that run line price comes out. But we definitely have 3. The first one being the Mets against the Padres. The Mets are at .487, the Padres at .527. You look at the line here, and the Padres are actually the underdog. You look at the run line, and it's just too expensive at minus 177. Therefore, the Padres are the play if you were going with it, but it is an unofficial due to price. Next up, Boston and Baltimore. Boston is at .485. Baltimore's in the bottom 3 at .458. You look at the price here, it's just too expensive. Boston at minus 185. I don't think Boston's going to have much of a problem here, honestly. They seem to have played pretty well this weekend. If they can keep that going into this series, I think they'll be fine. But just too expensive for us. And then last, you got Kansas City and Houston. Kansas City's at .459. Houston at .545. You look at the price, and it's way too expensive. You're paying $3 to win one. It's minus 300. I wouldn't touch that even if it was a sure bet. And we all know that there's no such thing as a sure bet. So I would pass on that for sure. It's going to be an unofficial because it's the only parameter that did not meet. As far as there were 2 4-game series starting up today, both of them missed on a parameter outside of it being 4 games, so they did not become unofficial. You look at Cleveland and the White Sox, they didn't meet, or they met on RPI. It was Cleveland being 509, the White Sox being 456, but the price was too high on Cleveland, therefore it being a 4-game series and the price too high, did not meet at all, does not become an unofficial play. Also, Seattle and New York, both of them at .502 on RPI, they're tied, therefore did not meet it. So now we'll get into the over-unders and what we're watching for today. So, yesterday, like I said, we did have the 3 plays, and one of them was canceled. One of them did win, and then one of them, the loser of the day was San Francisco and Cincinnati, with them stay under. They scored 11, so obviously went over the total and forced us into a 4th day. Now, usually you don't get a 4-game series that ends on a Monday. In fact, I think it only happens a couple times this year. Later in like July, I think Boston has a series where they finish up on a Monday with a 4-game series. But with that said, San Francisco and Cincinnati, we're looking for that 4th day, and the number is 8.5. When them stay under that, hopefully they take the day off and just go out there and swing a few, and it's like a low-scoring game. But we'll see. They've put up quite a bit of runs in this series, and we'll see if the defense will show up on the final day for either team. As far as new plays today, there are going to be 4. The Twins and Blue Jays. Twins are at 1.63. Blue Jays are at 0.48. Those combined 2.11. You're looking to take the over. It's 8.5, so that'll be the first play. Chicago White Sox and the Indians. The White Sox are at 1.38. The Indians are at 0.04. That's obviously at 1.42. It's 8.5 on the line, so you look at taking the over there. Seattle and New York. Seattle's at 1.5. New York at 1.1. That's a 2.6. You're looking to take the over 8 for that game. The next one does not have a line. It is the final game we're looking at. It's Miami and Chicago. Miami's at negative 0.09. Chicago's at negative 0.27. That's definitely pushing towards the under at negative 0.36. And just waiting on that line to come out. When it does, it'll be the under. Unless it's 6.5 or lower, which I doubt that's going to be that low for this game. So I'm definitely going to be pushing or looking at taking the under in this test. Now remember, like I said, if this is the first time you've watched this, this over-under stuff. This is a test that we're running to see how it does. Today, if San Francisco and Cincinnati finish, we'll be looking pretty good in that test so far. We've only been going for 9 days. So I'll get into all that tomorrow and the overall record since that series will be finishing up. And we'll talk about that on Tuesday. That's all I've got today. I appreciate you watching this video, and have a great Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.
60% of the time, it works every time.